Hello and welcome. My name is Sherrie, Tennessee. I am the Director of Education for SPA SOS, and this is our new class, SPA SOS Business Masterclass. So we're going to be talking to a variety of business experts on different topics relatable to those in the spa, beauty, and wellness industry. Today we have Ella Cressman. She is the owner of HHP Collective, and we are going to talk all about the power of partnership. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Ella on in.
Hi, I'm so
Hi,
glad to be
Ella.
here.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So good to see you. It's been a while.
So you look amazing.
So do you. Thank you. So how are you doing with everything that's going on?
It's challenging, but it's an exciting time because HHP does largely a good portion of our mission is education. And so with everyone at home, it's been a lovely time to be able to help bring that education to the masses. So
Fantastic. That's actually the whole purpose of Well World Television. TV is to bring different information about wellness and what's going on in wellness and spa and health and beauty on this wonderful platform. It's across social media from Facebook, Instagram, as well as LinkedIn, and you'll be able to find all of some great information available there. So Ella, you and I have known each other for a couple of years. I think we were coming up on our 2-year anniversary, I think.
three.
Three
Happy
years.
anniversary, Boo. It's about 3 years now. It's going to
Yay.
be 3 years this month, actually.
Yay. Yes, because I was getting ready for the IECSC show in Vegas.
Yes.
And it was an introduction through another friend that really turned into an amazing just friendship and partnership. And when I was thinking about different ideas, the idea of the power of partnership definitely came to mind. And I of course thought of you top of the list because I just watch you and what you do and how you just manage to turn small interactions into major partnerships. So I guess my first question for you is, what is your definition of a partnership?
I mean, that's a great question. And my definition of a partnership, we have partners throughout our lives. We have life partners, we have partnerships, we have professional partnerships. And any of those scenarios, the intention is to kind of fill in the gaps for the other one. And so you create quite the team. So partnership is a huge part of being a team. And so for me, what a partner is, what I look to when partnering is a like-minded individual who possesses strengths that I don't have. And I think that is another thing in my field, often we think we can do it all. And so I had to face that realization that I couldn't do it all when considering just the aesthetics field period. And I've carried that throughout my life if I look back. So a partnership is someone who is better at certain things than I am, or that I'm better at certain things than they are. And when we team up, we are able to conquer the world or the task, whatever.
So I realize people may not really understand what you do in your capacity with HHP and how you kind of find these different partners. So one, can you talk a little bit more about HHP and what that entity is, and then how you're actually able to find and connect, align with these various individuals to develop these partnerships?
Absolutely. So I must precede this with a little bit of background information. My whole career has been a series of whoopsie daisies. And so, whoopsie daisy, I found myself, I was long story short, became an esthetician, became a certified organic formulator, and was presented with CBD as an ingredient in 2014. And so at that time, I was like, I have no idea what this is. I had in that area quite a few weaknesses. One, I didn't know what it was. Two, I didn't know how it worked. And three, I didn't know what the heck I was supposed to do with it. And so I had to understand that. And so in doing that, I did a ton of research, and that'll get you so far. And it was very valuable. And then the next thing I did was even more networking. And through networking, bred understanding of who was doing things right and who was doing things wrong, as well as pairing that. I got to learn a whole new world. I got to learn a world of extraction and phytochemistry components and pairings and just these things that were fascinating for me. But I also got to see the underworld side of that. So I got to see the unsavory characters, and that was also fascinating. But quickly, I learned I don't know it all, but I want to put this quilt together this quilt of information for the end product of being good products. And so I knew that I had to identify where my weaknesses were and pair up. So I have since met different other formulators that are better at it than me, quite frankly, sourcing, people who source, people educate. And then from there, marketing people, computer people, labs, different idea, packaging people, co-packing, labels, SEO operators. So in this whole scheme of things, I was working as a consultant for one company at a time. And then I saw that there was a greater need, and there was not just a need, but a spot for me in the market. And that spot was to take all of these amazing connections of these like-minded people who shared my values, which was honesty and integrity. Unfortunately, that's not shared by everyone, but the values of bringing quality to the market. And so I said, let's collect them all. Got my net out and I collected them all. And so the HHP Collective was formed in late 2019, utilizing those connections I had been so fortunate to make. And so now what the HHP Collective does is help anybody at any stage of development in the hemp CBD market do anything. And that is from ideas to implementation, development, labeling your product because there's certain parameters there, and then designing messaging and selling it, essentially distributing everything. So we can help at any part of that. And so that to me was really, really important to do so in a way that was effective but honorable.
Exactly. So it was all about partnerships for you. So if
100%.
I am a new business owner, or I've been around in the spa, skincare, massage sector for a while, how do you make those connections? Where do you find those people? Whether it's online or at events or things like that, like what's your tool to make those connections?
I think just kind of blessed with it, blessed with the gift of gab. So that's great. I also identify, I have a gift, and I appreciate it very much, of identifying strengths in others. And there's two sides to that. So one is I'm also a connector. And so one is to see, oh, this person could really be valuable in this project, or this person could really be valuable for that other person. There is a level of that you can do online. I would say versus meeting someone in person, we have intuition, we have gut feelings. When you meet someone in person, you listen to that. And I have a very strong connection with mine. Online's a little different. As we know, we all have that Facebook face or that Instagram influencer, shield or filter. So it's a little bit different. You can, to be honest with you, there's people who I respected after following online, and I met them in person and I was disappointed. And I think that's key. So if you have a chance to connect with them personally, if they pique your interest, reach out. If they reach out and you still feel alignment, then amen, go for it, I think that's key. Networking and being open. I think that's another key component, is being open.
Absolutely. So what happens if you maybe reach out to that person? I know as a former business owner, we would go around and walk to the blocks around Hamden and kind of introduce ourselves to the owners and say, hey, we would love to partner with you. Maybe you could have your flowers in our location. And they would say no. So how do you deal with that aspect of rejection when you reach out for a partnership or an interaction and you get turned down?
Oh, with spite. No, just kidding. I think rejection is so good for us. I think we're not conditioned to think of rejection as a good thing, but rejection is amazing for a lot of reasons. Rejection could be, divine. A divine opportunity to be like, next. But also it's an opportunity to get better. So if you're approaching these people and you went to the whole neighborhood, because I also have a skincare studio I did something similar, but I found partnering with the people, it was unfortunate. I'll tell you guys a story. Don't repeat this. There's a laser studio next door, and I thought, what an amazing opportunity for me to partner. And it wasn't reciprocated, but I was able to. So she took, but she didn't give, and that was totally fine. But I was able to partner with the sip and paint studio down the street, and so they provided pins, which was something I didn't have to buy then. I was able to partner with a florist who we worked out a trade, and she would bring the flowers in, and then also we would send to our clients who were achieving milestones. So I think I couldn't partner with anyone. In the example of the florist, there was one 4 blocks down who just wasn't interested. And then there was another 2 miles down who was all about it. And so I think it's, had I been scared or had I been intimidated from my first rejection, I wouldn't have been able to adjust my presentation for the next proposal. And that's key. And in rejection in and of itself, I was a sales rep for a skincare company for a long time. And rejection is you face 85% rejection, and in that time I grew as a person, not just as a professional, but personally I grew so much in that time because of the rejection. I changed it from being a personal attack because I was the only one who could give myself permission to be personally attacked. I changed it into an opportunity to get better. And so I would use, I have a story I'm happy to share, but I would use every turn that I was rejected, I was used as an opportunity to adjust, reset, and try again. And so I think that's the same when you're reaching out. It's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone is comfortable going anywhere alone, first of all, or then walking up to someone and introducing yourself, but do it. Yeah. Or if not, you find your own way to do it, and you'll find that with the rejection and understanding how that benefits you.
It does. It makes you really get creative. And I think it develops a thicker skin as well. I remember when I first started, the no's hurt. And then as you heard more no's, you're just kind of like, all right, well, let's go on to the next one and see what happens. So with all of your experience in the different hats that you've worn and just in the different capacities that you've been in, what lessons have you learned about partnerships?
Partnerships can be amazing and can be there's two sides to partnerships, but setting yourself up with the right partnerships, there's growth in either. There's bad partnerships and there's good partnerships. In bad partnerships or bad arrangements, it's important to understand the growth. And so I have been paired in those situations, and I had been paired sometimes repeatedly in those situations. And once I understood, kind of took a step back to see some of the reoccurring messages or reoccurring lessons, I was able to move forward from that and take those bad situations and put them in good ones. And I've also had some amazing things happen from the good partnerships or just the connections. A lot of industries, it's not what you know only. It's not just what you know, it's who you know and how it can help you position. So partnerships may seem fruitless, like an attempt to partner with someone may seem fruitless, and then 2 years later you get a call from someone, hey, I want to connect you here. And so networking is super important, and trust. Networking is part of building trust. So what I've learned specifically is I can't do everything, and I've learned that through partners we can.
Exactly. So as we wrap up the session, it really is about business advice. Is there one piece of advice you would give the listeners in regards to establishing partnerships, creating those opportunities that maybe you wish you knew when you were starting out?
No, there's about 1,000 pieces of advice that I would give. For being honest. The one thing, I'm going to use the analogy of aesthetics, for example. Okay. I think as aesthetic practitioners, there's a range of treatments that we offer. For example, eyelash extensions, eyebrow, microneedling, or not microneedling, microblading. See, I don't even know what it is. And then corrective skincare, eyebrow waxing, body waxing. There's all of these things. Mm-hmm. And from a fear-based mindset, it's common that estheticians are so fearful of competition that they will, I could do it all. They want to be able to offer it all and be the end-all be-all for their clients. And so I encourage a lot of practitioners in that set to not take that standpoint and to instead rather partner or pair up with people who have strengths in those areas. I'm not a great spray tanner, but I'm an amazing corrective skincare practitioner. So I refer out to a makeup artist who's phenomenal and always available instead of me being available on the weekends for weddings, which I didn't want. It wasn't my passion. I'd rather
Right.
be, available for skincare stuff. So I partnered with these people, and in return, they would. It didn't always happen in the case of the laser person, but in return, they would send me back. With that, I was able to specialize and hone in on the craft that I was passionate about, and I was able to become an expert. And so I think that's key is in whatever field you're in, what is your niche? What is your part in the market? And pursue that and not be afraid to then partner with people who have strengths that you don't.
That's amazing. So we are reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the chapter we were reading last night was chapter 5 on general education or knowledge versus specialized knowledge. And he was a huge proponent of getting that specialized knowledge so that one size does not fit all, where you really do kind of hone in on a special skill set and really focus on that aspect.
I think you can think of that in the field of in the medical field, for example. The
Exactly.
difference in pay between a general practitioner, like even as a copay, between a general practitioner and a specialist is significant. And that's because they have honed their craft in that one particular area of medicine. So I think that's key. I do.
Yeah. And as we merge those industries with wellness and medical, I mean, really kind of looking at what they're doing and how we can incorporate that a little bit more. So if you are interested in learning more about HHP Collective and getting in touch with Ella, here is her information. So it's at HHP Collective on all social media platforms. Ella, it truly was a pleasure to have you with us today. And I want to thank Well World TV once again for allowing us to host and to be able to have these wonderful conversations. And until next time, we'll see you. Be well.
Thank you so much. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.
Be
You
well.
too. Thank you, Ella.